Welcome to the K-Cup, the official podcast of Kelly Construction Group. I'm your host, Joe Nortrup, and I am here with CEO and founder, John Kelly.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Thanks for being here, John. So today, should we start over?
Yeah, let's go.
That's pretty funny. Today we're wanting to talk about the opportunities that exist between the commercial real estate space and the general contracting space. What motivated us to want to do this for episode 3 is that we've had these opportunities to collaborate with commercial realtors through efforts of our own, really, to reach out and make it known that we want to collaborate. And these have turned into some great opportunities for them. They got to close some deals, and for us, we got opportunities to do projects, which to this day we still have ongoing relationships with those clients. So we wanted to make all those in the commercial real estate space that may see this aware that there's opportunities to collaborate with builders far in advance of you having a deal, and we want to get those relationships going right now and try to facilitate bringing a higher level of service to your clients. So we're going to talk about 3 specific opportunities where we can help you close a deal, or at the very least move a deal forward to the next step, so that your client can make an informed decision about the space that they're considering. So opportunity number 1 is when you have a client and they're interested in a space or a parcel of land, the very next thing that they need, once they decide that they like a space, the very next thing that they need is they need numbers. Before they can move ahead, they need to know what is the cost to get this space ready to be occupied and be open for business. And that is the opportunity for you to use us to get a budget. And we've provided budgets many times for commercial realtors. And at the very least, it allows their client, one, it keeps you engaged with your client, because rather than you just saying, oh, you like the space, well, let me know. If you want to do something with it, if you want to write that lease, let me know. And you just let them walk away. Rather than doing that, you're going to take them to the next step and hand them over to a general contractor, so to speak. And in other words, by means of us talking with them and you, and find out what they need and what they're looking at, so that we can provide a budget and they can make a decision as to whether or not they want to move forward. So that is the very first opportunity that we think probably happens weekly out there in the market, and yet the phone doesn't ring. So we want you to take advantage of this opportunity and reach out to us and let us help you out. Let us help you maybe close that deal that wouldn't otherwise get closed, and keep that client in play. What do you think about this first opportunity, John? What would you highlight about it?
Well, building relationships with commercial realtors, it's not something that's new for us. I mean, I started trying to do this 17 years ago when I started the business. One of the first things I did was reach out to some commercial realtors, set some appointments, go to their office.
Yeah.
Fortunately at the time I was a lot younger. We didn't have near the experience, no real resume to speak of. So it was a little bit tougher to get that conversation going.
Yeah.
But 17 years later, here we are doing the same thing. And, fortunately now we do have a lot better reputation. We do have a big resume.
Yeah.
We do have lots of things that we can offer. And so what I like most about opportunity number 1 is that we can bring real accurate numbers. We give our realtor partners accurate numbers that they can go back to their client with confidence, because this is what we do every day.
Yeah.
So they can take those numbers and they can help close the deals with real world numbers, and not just some figures that was pulled out of the air. But they can go with confidence knowing that they have a reliable source that's put together these numbers. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I like about opportunity number 1. The other thing is just we know this opportunity exists because we've done it time and time again.
Right.
We have a job that we recently finished here in the last year or 2, and out of town company comes in, connects with a realtor that we're communicating and working with. We're able to put together a deal that brings some money to all of our local subs and local economy, if you will. We're able to hire architects and engineers. We're able to hire all of our local subs.
Yeah.
Even some equipment vendors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it was just a cool opportunity to see it work. And we know they're out there. We've done it multiple times, and honestly, that's the kind of opportunities we're looking for. We want to be able to come in on the front end, bring some value, and put together a project that can really affect a lot of companies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That project that you're talking about, that happened because we were making a similar effort like we are now, to, let that particular realtor know that we were alive and had a pulse, and that we were here, ready to collaborate with them, ready to be of service if we could. And as it often happens, we no sooner made that offer to them, then sure enough, they got a lead, and it was, like you said, for an out of town client coming into the area, and we were able to join up with the realtor and service that client. It turned into a very nice project for us. They closed the deal on a large parcel of land, and as a result, we had a nice project, and we have opportunity for more projects going forward with the same company. We have an ongoing relationship with them. They were very happy with the whole experience, from realtor to builder and everything. So it turned out really great. And we know that there's countless opportunities like that that could happen if we could just get together with y'all before the client goes dark, and the lead goes cold, and they just kind of disappear, just because they don't have that opportunity to go to the next step and figure out what the cost is going to be. So yeah, that's a great point that you brought out about that opportunity that we did experience, and we know there's a lot more to be had. Well, let's move on to the second opportunity, and this has to do with, like, really the pre-purchase or pre-lease time period there. You might call it the due diligence period, or whatever. Say you're a listing agent, for example, and you get the opportunity to list a space for lease or list a parcel of commercial land. Just like in the commercial or in the residential space, a lot of times agents will recommend to their seller that they're representing to go ahead and get an inspection done, and that way you can find out where all the squeaky wheels are prior to listing the property, so that if any of those things need to be addressed, it can be in the way the contract is either structured, or maybe just go ahead and take care of some of those things so they're not a problem. So when you get a client, you can actually get the property closed. Well, it's the same with the commercial space. A lot of times a third party inspection company may be hired, excuse me, and an inspection may be done. And then what needs to happen at that point is some value needs to be assigned to those items on that inspection. So you end up with this multi-page list of items. But what we can do as a contractor is we can take that report and we can assign labor costs where there might be labor needed to straighten something out, more so than, say, material, but material costs and all those different things that could be red flags that could throw a monkey wrench in your deal later if they're not addressed prior to showing the space to potential clients. So and if you're a buyer's agent or a leaseor or leasee's agent, um, knowing what these things are in advance also gives you leverage to negotiate on behalf of your client. So whether you're a listing agent or a buyer's agent, it doesn't really matter on either side of that equation. By having a relationship with a general contractor, we can interpret those reports. Sometimes whatever's needed to be done doesn't necessarily require a general contractor, but guess what? We have a lot of subcontractors that we work with throughout the year, and we can get you together with one of those and address exactly what needs to be taken care of. So a lot of opportunity there. We mentioned that it does give the buyer's agent or leasee or leaseor, I'm not sure which is the proper terminology for the one that's going to actually lease the space, but you get the point. If you're representing that person that's going to lease the space, it gives you leverage to negotiate a better opportunity for them. So what do you think about this second opportunity, John?
Yeah, I mean, again, just looking at ways we can bring value to that commercial realtor. I think the thing that we're looking to do is give them confidence going into their deal. And, a lot of times on these reports, you may not need a general contractor to take care of a lot of those. But
Yeah.
what we can do is we can kind of reiterate what we think is critical and what we think isn't critical on that report. The other thing that we can do is we can give them reliable sources for the work that does need to be done. If it's not going to require a general contractor, like you said, we have plenty of subcontractors that we work with on a day-to-day basis that we know could go tackle this problem. At a minimum, give them a cost, to have the problem remedied so that they can go into the deal with that leverage that you discussed.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing that I see, is just, even in this opportunity, we can still offer value. We can still give them information that they can go into their deal with confidently.
Yeah. And that's a great point that you made. Like, even with the subcontractor scenario, if it doesn't require a general contractor, if we're going to put you together with one of our subcontractors, we procure quotes, from subcontractors in our bidding and estimating all the time. So it's not unusual for us to, meet with a sub or have a sub go look at something and then provide a number for us. So it's still it doesn't mean that because we're not involved that you still can't get a quote before you have to act. We can, through our relationship with those subcontractors, we can get them to work up a quote for you so that you have the opportunity to see what it would cost, and then you can go from there. But either way, it's, information is leverage and power, in that it makes it easier for you to close a deal if you know what you're up against. So look at it in that regard.
And two, you're connecting them with a trustworthy source. You're connecting them with a company that we've done business with, that we have confidence in. It's going to take care of their business.
Absolutely, yeah. And by having this relationship with us, if we recommend somebody and for whatever reason it doesn't go quite as planned, you have a recourse, outside of them. You can sure reach out to us, and then we can reach out to them and find out what's going on. So again, just makes it a great opportunity for you to have this resource, and it widens your ability to bring service above and beyond to potential clients and keep them engaged so that they just don't go away. So all right, so that was opportunity number 2. So opportunity number 3 is really talking about the market at large, particularly in the greater Baton Rouge area. We know that there is a ton of building going on, but we also know there's a ton of existing commercial spaces. In some situations, these spaces
quite the cold,
huh? Yeah, I'm dried out, man. I need some water. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Anyways, so in a lot of situations now, we have a lot of existing spaces that are feeling the competition of these new commercial spaces being built up around them. And we know that if you're representing a property management group, or if you have commercial property investors, occupancy is a thing. They worry about that. So you can use us as a resource to find ways to address these situations where you can maintain your ability to compete in the market. For example, we're up to date on all the latest, facades and retrofit systems and things like that. We also, can advise you on what amenities you might want to update in order to be able to keep a property competitive with new builds, whether it's an updated HVAC system or break rooms or restrooms, whatever the case may be. We can advise you on how to update that property to keep it competitive in a very competitive commercial market right now. And what do you think about that opportunity, John?
Yeah, I think where we can bring value here is just, oftentimes if somebody's looking to upgrade a facility, they usually have a budget. So we can take that budget and we can offer, suggestions on how to use it, what materials to build with, and that kind of thing. Again, to give some accurate cost, that an accurate way to use their budget, if you will.
Yeah.
The other thing that that we could do here is, you mentioned retrofits.
Mm-hmm.
I think retrofits are something that kind of get overlooked, but I know that there's a lot of times where end users or building owners would like to update their building, but they just can't find a good window to stop long enough to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about retrofits. Retrofits, we can go in and basically renovate the building with no real stoppage in work.
Yeah.
So just things like that are places that we can really bring value in these type of situations.
Yeah.
And again, we know these opportunities exist. We're working on 2 of them right now, to where basically they're looking for just what we're talking about. They want some facade upgrades.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep up with the buildings in the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
And we've been able to provide this feedback and meet their budgets to get their projects up and going.
Yeah.
So we know these opportunities are out there, and we just looking to give a hand when we can.
Yeah, it makes me think of one a multi-unit commercial space that we were hired to fix. It needed some, the units all needed some badly needed exterior updates, and to the point where the updating was starting to turn into a structural thing. We were able to go in there and basically, like surgically remove and replace elements of the facade so that occupancy was maintained the whole time while we were working. We did it in a very methodical way, and it didn't affect the residents. The residents ended up with a superior product once we were done, and safety was increased, aesthetics was increased, and serviceability was increased. All done while the property maintained occupancy. So it can be done, but that's where our expertise and experience comes into play to be able to help you with that. And by you having a relationship with us and us being able to have these kinds of conversations, that's something that would just flow naturally when you talk to a potential client and they ask you, well, what about this? You can just explain very easily how it can be done, and how occupancy can be maintained in that property, and revenue not lost while these improvements are made. So those are 3 opportunities that we think would be great. We can provide budgets. We can help you interpret property inspection reports so that you can assign a cost to the different elements there, and know what you're up against as far as getting a property ready to be on the market or be occupied. And thirdly, we can help those properties that are feeling the pressure from all the competition in the commercial space. We can advise you on how those properties can be updated in the most effective way, in the most efficient way, and stretching those dollars as far as you can and getting the best bang for your buck, while in some cases maintaining occupancy where the property is being occupied currently. So anyways, we look forward to having opportunities to collaborate with you. Please reach out to us. Follow the show. You can follow the show on YouTube at the K Cup, and follow us on LinkedIn, on our LinkedIn page at Kelly Construction Group. Don't hesitate to reach out and contact the office if you want to talk about anything. You may see me out there knocking on your door one of these days. I do see a lot of commercial realtors in the course of a month. So maybe next time look for me, and let's have a conversation and talk about the possibilities. Any closing words, John, on that?
No, sounds good. I mean, like you said, looking for some opportunities. So if this show resonates, or some of the things that we've talked about resonates with you, reach out and we'll start a conversation.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Come on back. See us next time. Thanks.
See ya.
Later.